All right, so I'm just going to play for about an hour today, but I wanted to kind of go through, just trying to get back into it. For those of you that have watched my channel for a long time, I've taken a little bit of time off this summer and shot some videos and played a little bit, but not necessarily went all the way through the rounds. Just started it off and just trying to get back into the game. We've had such a busy year with COVID, and Playdemic's made a bunch of changes, and so they've really been like every week. I'm surprised we have a week off here and not a 9-hole cup. But we have this new change in how tournaments, how we're bracketing tournaments. So let's talk about I'm trying to myself like get a grasp on like how the change, because I'm not seeing from the brackets that I've been in. This is kind of the way it's gone. We have three different areas. When the game first came out, it was free for all. And what I mean by that is that when the game first came out, it was in 2017 when the game came out, they made a major change in how tournament bracketing went in the summer, kind of like late summer of 2018. So the game had been out for about a year and a half, and they went to the bracketing system that we just left, where basically you had rookie, pro, expert, and masters. And if you were playing in rookie, there was rookie, there was rookie pro, there was rookie expert, and there was rookie masters. So in the past, if you were playing here and your account at any point in its lifespan had made it to rookie masters, then every single person in your bracket who you played out on the course may or may not be somebody that was in your bracket, but for the most part, like everybody in your bracket was an ex-masters. And there was a lot of current ones. And then a rookie expert, it went the same way. So these two brackets right here, when like, because I can really speak to how these two brackets played. If at the top of the charts a minus 32 was like let's say we'll just start at one of those scores, that are like minus 32 was like the pinnacle. You could get, and anything plus 30 was like putting you in potential to get a banner. You were going to see a minus 32. You were going to see a minus 31. You were going to see some 30s. And then it was going to go to the 29. And you were going to see this bracketing up here where these numbers right here may encapsulate the top 4, top 5. And the top 10 was going to be dominated by 29s. Well, your minimum score here is minus 24. Hold on one second. Let me let Buster in. Hold on. Come on, Buster boy. All right. Sorry about that. So when we talk about minimum score of minus 24, this minimum score hasn't changed. So if we're on any particular course in Golf Clash, minus 24 is always going to be our minimum score. And there can be some holes in the game that are like those par 5s where we can't get the Albie, we can only get an eagle, where that lowers it down to minus 11. Or we've got that par 4, like at Sunshine Glades, hole number 1, that par 4, you've got to get an eagle on that. Everybody's got to get an eagle on it. That makes our minimum score minus 13. That means minus 26. So there's a few courses that will change this number, but this is pretty much our standard number. So you look at the minus 24 as being the minimum, and what it takes to win this tournament's a minus 32. Okay, so that's 8 shots. You got to pick up 8 shots. That's minus 4 per side. Okay, that hasn't changed. So I know that with the way that the new bracketing is a lot of people's expectation, and I'm sure that there is when you get down here into rookie, or rookie pro. I'm sure that those brackets are different, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. But to get up to the top to get these scores, this stuff hasn't changed. Now, some of these, maybe in Rookie Pro, you're going to get in the ones where the minus 30, the minus 29, that's like the top stuff, and you're going to see a bunch of people up there. And what's going to happen is that you may not see this 32 at the top. You may see the 31. Or you may see 7 people at 30, and then it all boils down to tiebreakers. And this is how these brackets have been working since the game came out. I mean, obviously, when the game first came out in this free-for-all section, everybody had low clubs. There wasn't anybody who we were still, when the game first came out, there wasn't all these resources like there is right now, like Golf Clash Notebook and all this stuff where you could get online and you could go, what does a thorn level 6, what are its stats? Like, we can find out that information super easy. But when the game first came out in this segment right here, because Golf Clash Notebook didn't come out until like January, it was right at the beginning of 2018. So we went like the first 9 months and we had really no resources other than what we could find out online when they had the original forum. And then somebody would go on there and post and tell us what it was. So back in these days, you could be a brand new player in a bracket with somebody who was a max trophy player playing a rookie. And so the fields were all over the place. You could end up in a great bracket where it was just a bunch of new people, and you could end up in a bracket where there was 80 people that knew how to play the game. And so we're getting tighter and tighter into that. That's why we're seeing these types of scores. But these scores to get wins are not different than what they were in the past. So if we really want to, like, regardless of how the bracketing is, this all boils down to our gameplay. If you look at your game and you look at all of the mistakes that you made, I look at my mistakes. I've posted videos of my mistakes. I mean, like, some of you can go, God, this guy, hey, the whole deal is we learn more from our mistakes if we actually are willing to bite the bullet and go look at what our mistakes were and try and make adjustments so that we don't make that mistake again, setting your ball up in a safer spot, whatever. But these scores have not changed. A minus 24 minimum score. That's what you got to get on every single tournament. And in the past, I will say this. In the past, we've got a qualifier, we have an opener, and we have a weekend round. Typically in the qualifier, you could, if we're looking at minus 12, you could actually, in the qualifier, some of these qualifying rounds, you could see a minus 11 might be the cutoff. Minus 12 is the minimum score. And there may be one person at minus 13, and then some people at the minus 12, and then minus 11, and there may be a minus 10 that actually ekes in, just depending on the round. And the same thing in the opening round. You could see the minimum score is almost always guaranteed to get you to the next round. And you shoot that minus 24, you're pretty well in. You could actually probably come in with a minus 23, just depending on the course. Some courses have a lot more opportunities than others, and that'll change. But now that's not how this is going. In the weekend round, when I think minimum score of minus 24, in the weekend round, in the brackets, in my 77 bracket, which played in Rookie Expert, I would anticipate that the minimum score is going to get you somewhere in the top 50. And in my Ricky Masters account, my odd account, I would think that minus 24 is going to get you somewhere in the top 90, maybe 80 to 90. The top 80 to 90 players shot the minimum score. Everybody that came into the bracket can shoot the minimum score. We all know how to play. We all got great clubs. We all got good stuff. We've all played 6,000 games. There's a few people in there that haven't, but that might be a second account for them. And there are some people in there that have 30,000 games. That's their main account, and that's the account that they play. And the brackets are super tight. So, think about when you've got... So if we're in between these two areas, and I'll start over again. If we're in between those two areas, and we've got somewhere between 50 to 90 people in the bracket can shoot the minus 24. And let's cut that in half. So that's a 40 difference. So we'll go 70. So the top 70 people can shoot the minimum score. So there it's minus 24 plus. Minus 24 is probably going to go towards 50. So here we're in the minus 24. And if we want to get up the scale and we want to get into the top 50, then we're going to have to pick up a shot. I mean, that's just the way it is. And the odd numbers, it's always picking it up on both sides, trying to have even rounds so you get that, obviously trying to pick up a shot on each side. But if you can pick up just one, I think in a lot of the brackets that I'm seeing right now, you can be, if you're picking up just one, you can be somewhere between the 30 to 50 range, just depending on the bracket, just by picking up one shot. Now, if you came in with good tight, this is the deal is that this spread right here, 30 to 50. So 30 to 50, as far as how many points you get and what prizes you get when you're in 30th versus 50th, and you all shot the same score, it's all about that qualifying score coming in there. And that's why you really have to pick shots up. You have to pick a shot up on every side. That's why coming in with an odd number like this, you're going to be in a good bracket if you can pick up that extra shot and you can get to minus 26. And this is how these brackets work. Every shot that you can pick up is going to put you in a spot. And typically for me, I look at par fours. Obviously, there are some par threes in the game that are super hole-in-oneable. And there are some par fives that are super albiable. But par fours, not all of them in the game, but there are a lot of par fours that we can make good money on par fours because we don't have to do that long iron shot from the field or that wood shot from the field or even a short iron shot, any shot. We're on the green. We're taking a short chip or we're making a putt. And I think percentage-wise, if you had to take 100 chips from any club, same club, or you take 100 putts, which one are you going to make the most of? You're going to make more of those putts or those short chips. I want to get up there and get on and try and pick those shots up. So I understand. I'm sorry, but the tier thing is really frustrating. It is because the brackets are so tight. You cannot afford to drop any shots whatsoever. I mean, you have to really be on your A game. And there's times you just have to be on your A game. You really have to be, if you want to win, you really have to be focused. You can go out there on any given day if you've been playing for a long time and you can pop off an awesome score. But the deal about practice and the deal about really playing the game on a regular basis and working that stuff and working those numbers is that you're trying to make that where you can do that every single time. It's so replicatable. It's the minimum score is nothing and you're just trying to pick up a shot. I shot a minus 28 in expert and didn't qualify for the weekend. Got a minus 31 in weekend round with another account and got 16th. Yeah. And I will tell you that it's hard to, you can't equate what you can get in rookie, pro, expert, or masters. You can't look at the final scores. What they can get when they're in expert is they can sometimes get stuff that nobody else can get because they're from the middle tees and they've got bigger wind. And so it's hard to equate out what. But in the tournament that we're getting ready to play here, this Frosty Peaks, I show in, let's go into, so in the Frosty Peaks playlist, this Christmas tournament weekend round, holes 1 through 9, holes 10 through 18, I put the whole round on there. I shot in that round a minus 30. And when I got to the end, I shot a minus 16 and a minus 14. And the first 3 holes that are in this are super critical. We got to get something. And I didn't get anything in the first 3 on the front 9. And I still ended up with a minus 16. But I left the door open big time because of what I had for tiebreakers. and somebody came up and shot a minus 31, and I would have beat them in tiebreakers if I would have shot the 31, and somebody else came up and shot a minus 30 and beat me in tiebreakers, and I ended up coming in third with a 30. And I've ended up coming in fourth with a 31. And I've had, rounds like that where you're in a bracket where there's just a bunch of people that are popping off, and it's one of those. And I've also been in the bracket where I'm on the other side. I'm the one that popped off that score. So that's just how it works. And it is super, super tight when you get up to the top 10 to try and get. And the difference a lot of times, I was talking to my teammate Kyle the other day, and he wouldn't tell me. He came in fourth in expert and 88. And I think if he'd have had one more shot, he probably would have won. I think that's where it was. It was just down to tiebreakers. It was all one shot. So for anybody that's out there that thinks that, hey, them changing the stuff and making this change is going to make a bunch of brackets where everybody can get a win and we can all go, yeah, we've all got a bunch of wins. But I will tell you that you can look back from the very beginning of this game. Tommy did a video one time, and he was like, in the very first tournament, like what we were trying to get for scores. And it was a ridiculous number because it was really like these minus 30s. We're playing, we're basically trying to get like a minus 18 minus. And the deal there is that we all had low level clubs. So our clubs were all low level, very beginning, like, Tour 3, Tour 4, Tour 5 clubs, and we're playing in tournaments. And so those scores, it was different just because we were trying to get our clubs up. But this is what it takes to win those tournaments. And in that particular tournament, getting a third, is that the Vegas one? Which one was the Christmas one? That was the last bronze that I got, was that Christmas tournament. And I can tell you that this would look a lot better in gold. And it was one stroke. And it wasn't anybody else's fault but my own. There's plenty of opportunities to pick up shots out here. And every single hole counts. All right. That's enough of me bitching. Let's go play some. I'm playing right now Tour 5. I'm playing Tour 5 because I'm trying to get these White Cliff golf club holes.